Thought Cops Live is back. Come and see us on stage in Neo Chicago at the Lincoln Lodge, Friday, June 18th at 11 p.m.
Join us for a night of irony-poisoned alternative comedy forged from the darkest corners of the internet.
Featuring special guest Aaron Klopfer.
And don't forget to bring your own 2 minutes of hate. We want to hear what's bothering you.
Thought Cops Live from Neo Chicago. Tickets on sale now. Link in the episode description. Welcome to Thought Cops, the only podcast where every week we police the mean streets of the internet because, hey, somebody's got to do it. And then we let you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in the court of public opinion. Coming to you live from Neo Chicago, I'm Officer Kevin.
I'm Officer Grant. I just realized that the bit that I did last time, we're all familiar with the bit I was doing.
I'd like to forget.
The Legion of Gays. I just realized that the most appropriate time that I would have done that would have been this month, which is Pride Month. I don't know why I didn't think to do that.
No words.
That was stupid of me.
No fucking words.
Fucking moron.
How the hell are you, Grant?
Normal.
All right. Well, let's move on with the show. This is a normal conversation between two normal human beings.
It really is. I mean, this is it, folks.
Let's give a thank
the
you
magic right here
to our guest from last time, Nico. Thank you, Nico.
Hey, and let's also give a very big thank you to Zwick, who, thanks to his magical audio wizardry fairy dust shit or whatever the fuck, Fago, I think, we got our first live YouTube video.
Yes. Excellent
Finally.
work, Zwick. We put this guy through the ringer. We love you, Zwick, and we appreciate all you do for us, man. Great work. I think it was a great success. People want to see what's going on in the room here. You know, they want to see our faces, our expressionless faces. I'm looking in the chat
see
here.
Oprah.
Yeah, we got Oprah in the background here. If you donate on Patreon over at patreon.com/thoughtcops, you can be in the live chat and watch the live episode stream. I'm looking at the chat right now. We got Junebat here who says, I love that these videos have shown me how much Kevin puts his body into the intro. And that's a little
Now everybody knows what I go through is just watching my head as I
That's a little trick for any you folks at home who want to broadcast. You got to put your body into it because that comes across when you listen to it. If you just, you're just sitting there talking, you're going to just going to hear that same energy. But if you throw your body into it, into that intro, you can just feel the throbbing energy coursing through your ass.
And joining us is a new guest, Keeby.
Let's give a warm welcome to Keeby.
Yes.
How the hell are you, Keeby?
I'm good. I'm happy to be on the show.
We appreciate you coming on.
And we're happy to have you here,
Sorry
my
about the
friend.
ass talk.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I'm not sorry.
I expect it.
Whatever way, I don't know how to take that, but I will take it the best way possible. That being said, Keeby, you were an animator, an illustrator. You got your own Newgrounds channel. You do a lot of funny comics on the internet. And the reason that I started following you personally was because of Epic Gamer comic.
Those are so fucking funny.
Yeah,
those
very
rule
funny.
Hard.
So if you want to talk a little bit about all that stuff.
Well, sure. I am an illustrator and animator. I never thought to call myself an illustrator. I'm just an artist in my brain. But that is a good way to put it. I started off making comics. Epic Gamer comic is the one that really got me to fame. I started making that because of Power Up comics.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Yeah, those are fantastic. I love the guy who makes them. He's a great guy. And I started making them because I thought Power Up Comics, 1, had ended, and 2 was unironic.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I had no clue that it was a guy, like, playing characters. Sorry to ruin the magic for anybody who didn't know.
No, we've talked about Power Up Comics here on the show before. I gave it my Key to the City
multiple times.
Yeah, a few years back because it's and it was one of those things where at first I had to like look at it for a little bit longer than a minute because I'm like I wasn't sure if it was like ripped directly from a GeoCities site from 2003 or if it was like a parody because they would have like the one I think one of the most famous ones is like the one with George W. Bush where he's like I don't love oil. I don't. And then he just like,
he's wearing
yes,
a t-shirt
you do.
that says,
and then
I heart oil.
They're brilliant. And you take that same energy. Keeby, I am someone who I grew up in that era of the internet, the early 2000s. And I myself had a web comic, albeit it was a not illustrated, but a sprite comic. Ooh. I put out a hit on that. Somebody found my Angel Fire website a couple years back. I sent them some free stickers for finding it. And but I consumed a lot of that content when I was of that age and when I was using the computer because it was like there wasn't a lot of media that would reference video games in the same way that I might see on Newgrounds.com or any of these various gamer comics. God, what the hell? Right. I'm thinking of like some of the big ones like VG Cats was up there.
Oh, VG Cats is messed up.
God, Control Alt Delete. I never got into that one, but of course that's become sort of infamous over the years.
I actually read through all of like the main run of Control Alt Delete last year.
Really? Was that for research, like for your own work?
Yes,
or
definitely
just, like,
for research.
Curious?
It definitely was for research and out of curiosity. There is some horrible stuff in there.
Like horrible in what sense? Like cringy or like offensive or both? Okay, I had a funny feeling. There's
There's an arc where the main character gets brainwashed into becoming an activist for Apple, and they call themselves the Mac Panthers, and he changes his name to Malcolm OSX.
No,
it's like
it's awful.
That is so awful. Like I that stuff. Well, when did that come out? Was that recently or was that like years and years ago?
That was like ages ago. That's like when it looked like Lost.
Okay, for sure. Because I know it's still going. I think right.
Wait, he rebooted it.
Macintosh Luther King Jr.
You want to write for Control Alt Delete, Grant?
Maybe. I don't know if they're hiring.
You send them your resume.
I don't think Tim Buckley would hire anybody.
But yeah, your comics embody a lot of that spirit, where it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek takedown of that culture as a whole, that crew, that niche of internet content creators from the era. I'm trying to think of another good one like that. The cake. What's the best way to find all the gamers and geeks in the crowd at this party?
Love that one.
Oh, the cake is so good and moist and delicious. And then off screen, we see the bubble. It says, "The cake is a lie."
I've referenced that one like several times.
And the characters like have this like the smarmiest glance at each other, and it's just you want to blow your fucking brains out when you read it. It's truly terrible. But if you could talk a little bit about just epic gamer comic in general, like the specificities of like the characters and kind of what you put in there. Do you put like story arcs in there to pay homage to some of these other comics?
Oh, absolutely. There are story arcs. It's actually changed a lot as I've made it, because the very first ones were like in 2018 and they didn't get like any attention. Like I made the first ones in like 2018 and like early 2019. There was like 12 originally, and no one cared about them. They were just stupid jokes like, haha, Mario's doing weed, it's the mushrooms. And
right. It makes you think. You play those games really now, you're going to look at them a little differently.
Yeah, and Pokemon is dogfighting. And oh man, how can a 10-year-old catch God? Stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the classic.
The most classic basic stuff you could do for a gamer comic. And it was in those 12s that I introduced the two main characters. Back then they were just known as the Epic Gamers, Epic Gamer 1 and Epic Gamer 2, but now they have more specific names, Gene and Eric. Which
that's good.
Kind of comes together. That comes together to be like they're now the generic gamer comic characters, Gene and Eric. So those 12 just didn't really take off at all. And so I just kind of stopped making them for a while. You know, I just kind of got bored, didn't have any ideas. There were like some that I had sketched on paper that I never got to making during that time, but it all just, you know, I just kind of got bored. And then it was around March of 2020, last year. There was that big trend with like Isabelle and Doom Guy, where like everybody was like drawing like wholesome art and like being like, "Oh man, they're best friends."
Yeah.
I was getting really annoyed and sick of that.
Same. So were we. We talked about it on the show.
Mm-hmm. And so I decided to make a brand new Epic Gamer comic, Epic Gamer Comic 13, where it was just, I think I can pretty much recite it from memory. It's, what if Isabelle and the Doom Man were besties? And then like there's a last panel that has like big chunk as Keanu Reeves.
Yes, and that was,
this is so wholesome.
That was the comic I followed you for, because it was one of those things where I'm like, it felt like no one was making fun of this thing that I really found very annoying.
Right.
And then you just nailed it on the head, and I didn't see anyone doing it. And I'm like, I'm giving this guy a follow. This is funny.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And yeah, I remember like the big Chungus thing too, because I think that was around the time where everybody was like eating up the Keanu thing like completely with no critical eye. And yeah, Grant's pulled up the comic here as well.
Once I figure how to pull this up, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
If I can sort of zoom in. Too much going on the screen, but if you zoom in, if you look hard enough, you got to
squint. It's yeah.
And if you look at the replies of that comic, people got so mad.
How so?
Like, furious that I would even, like, dare to make fun of it. Like, they were just like...
Was it like a let people enjoy things kind of thing?
Yes, absolutely. That was, like, the most common comment. That was it.
I mean, like... Gamer culture is so fucking predictable. You just take two things into an epic mashup that people are talking about on Twitter that week and be like, oh, Mario Golf and I don't know, what's another fucking like thing that's happening this week? Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever. It just you just throw these things together. All you do, like if you're any sort of like illustrator or whatever, you just toss them together. You rack up like 2,000 likes on Twitter.
It's heinous.
It's just this like hecking wholesome bull crap.
Yeah. And yeah, so I just made that off of just out of a whim. And it blew up. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, well, finally a comic I made is actually getting some attention. Maybe I'll make some more of these Epic Gamer comics. And
hell yeah.
I just kept making them. There was a lot of them that blew up. The ones I make now don't get quite as big because I think the time's coming past. Because now people like are very like used to Epic Gamer comics and just gamer comics in general. But the one that undoubtedly is the biggest is the one where they're at a party, right? And Eric says to Gene, "Man, I wonder how we can find the gamers at this party." And Gene just yells, "I hate women." and then it's just a panel of like Eric looking like upset at Gene. And like and then like the last panel is the same panel as the last, but he just says, "Dude." Just like
that's perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, like
it's great.
You're lambasting the gamer culture. You're not
like nobody needed to take them down a peg.
Nobody.
Nobody.
The funny thing about that one is it's actually an edit of the comic before it. In the comic before it, Eric didn't have any objections, and then like the last panel was like every gamer on Earth getting executed.
Have you ever done anything with Game Master Anthony, if you're familiar with him?
I am not familiar with him, actually.
It's like this legendary forum post from the early 2000s where it's like, all right, guys, it's my 30th birthday. Time to throw it in for a party with everything. And it's like in asterisks, it says like every fictional character from every video game property, movie property, and TV show property come together and have a huge party.
That's fucking epic.
That's
man.
Awesome.
It's one of the absolute best forum posts of all time. I think I gave him a key to the city on this at some point because somebody like interviewed him for his 40th birthday recently and was like, hey, your post from 10 years ago is viral where you were
right
celebrating with all the fictional characters. How are you doing now? And he's like, yeah, we're still having a good time, you know?
At least he hasn't lost his mind, or he already has, and he doesn't have to worry about losing it further.
It's probably the latter. But let's move right along, though, to a little bit of our own show news. Like we said in the promo at the beginning of the episode, we got a live show coming up, which, of course, you can scroll down to the episode description, get tickets for that at the Lincoln Lodge, June 18th, Friday at 11 p.m. It's going to be a good time with special guest Aaron Klopfer. Twitch.tv/ThoughtCops. We're still doing, we're okay. Imagine like the little orange construction cone. We're doing a little bit of under construction work right now. We're figuring out, we're putting up a lot more clips on our YouTube channel. And just like I said, the pivot to video that we've been doing recently has taken up a lot more of our attention because we want to divide our ideas and everything into what else we can be doing to do different things, especially as the world begins to slowly open back up.
As the world turns.
So, like I said, hey, just come see us in person. It's even better than Twitch.
And if you can't, like Kevin said, there's clips now. We're going to try and put out like a regular amount of clips. Here, I actually don't have it planned. I was gonna pull it up, but we've been working on some chunks of the show. I know other shows. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's a 2-hour long show. 1 or 2 hours long. Not everybody wants to listen to it, but if they have a chunk where we talk about John Cena giving his apology to China in Chinese, then maybe someone will want to click that and watch that. So we're trying to put more effort into that type of stuff. And I'm hoping that hopefully maybe by the end of June, we'll finally hit the 500 subscriber mark on YouTube.
Wow. Can you imagine?
That's a big mark.
No. It is a big mark. I can only hope to get past it. I mean, I know we were focusing for a long time on the RSS feed aspect of the podcast, and we still are. But it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're just building on top. We laid the foundation. We got this great product. We're just going to add a little extra in. So, if you see that, make sure you subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Spread some of those videos around. Link it, link it to people. Put it on your Facebook or whatever the fuck people use. Yeah.
Let's move right along, though, to a very famous, very favorite segment of the show. Of course, Grant, I'm talking about 2 Minutes of Hate. We like to blanket punish all that annoying, random crap that we see on the internet every single day. I'm on my phone, I'm on my computer, I'm going, ooh, baby, you got to cut this out. My 2 Minutes of Hate this week goes to the rumor mill. I am sick of rumors.
Yeah, I don't care for them.
I don't
give a shit.
I'm not talking about gossip. I'm not talking about Fleetwood Mac. I'm talking about video game rumors specifically.
Like
now, I tend to
this.
sort of follow this kind of thing. I follow some accounts that have the insider information on what's going to happen, what's going to show up.
A bunch of people's uncles work for Nintendo.
Exactly, and I follow all of their uncles on Twitter. And we're mutuals, and they share with me. They say, guess what? At 9 a.m. tomorrow, Nintendo will reveal the Switch Pro. I heard it from somebody who told me, and that someone told them. And then it goes every fucking day with this. It's all these rumors, and it's like, it's been going on forever. It's whatever different kind of, I feel like it's most common around video game news, especially where ever since the new Smash Brothers came out, it's been constant oh, I heard this character's going to be in it. I heard this character's going to be in it. And then it's just like all this evidence and this fake. And if you go back and look at so much of it, it's just like 99% of it is a bunch of crap.
Right.
It's like the lengths that people go through to trick people or just lie is so bizarre. And it's just, at this point, it's like I give no credence to any of the rumors anymore. It's exhausting to even think about. At this point, it's like, if it's in my hands, I'll enjoy it. But I am done with this Like, and I do still follow these accounts, and it's like, guy, tomorrow at 2 p.m. it's going to happen. Like, then 2 p.m. passes. Probably going to be 4 p.m. It's just like, this is just like pathetic and annoying.
See, this is why I never do any of the talking about video games. I just play video games. You know, I don't draw comics about video games. I don't read news about it. I just like, you tell me, hey, did you see the new Smash Bros character came out? And I'm like, no, I haven't downloaded the old ones. And you're like, oh, you should do that. And then I do it. That's basically, it trickles in all from you.
So I'm your uncle in Nintendo, basically.
Yeah. Cashew in the chat also wants to points out that the Switch Pro is coming out tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And it's like Mr. Krabs.
And the problem with these rumors, too, is the hype train, Grant. The hype train's going to fall off the rails because you got all these rumors, you got all this conjecture, people get their expectations so high that it all falls apart. And that was the big reason with all the backlash against the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, because for months and months, they're like, it's coming. It's going to be this big celebration of all the titles, and they're going to look better than ever. And it's like, for the most part, like, some of the games looked exactly the same, and some of them had minor improvements. And I didn't hate it as much as some people, but I did find it underwhelming. But Keeby, you seem to kind of be a little bit familiar with this.
Oh, absolutely. I do keep up with all the rumors and stuff. And like you said, 99% of the time it's fake. But I think the thing that keeps people coming back is just like the 1% of the time that it is real. You know? And
sometimes it is like, there's like these 4chan posts that go around, and it's like a little bit like they called a little bit too many things correctly, where it's like, well, that means the two things that are left have to happen. And that's when it does kind of get exciting, because then you start to be like, well, if they were right about everything else that's happened,
absolutely,
the other stuff on this list is probably true too. So
but then I think
at that point,
a lot of the times,
at that point you can kind of feel,
but a lot of times
it's like the same thing.
They like have real information, but like also just sprinkle in some fake stuff so that like they don't get caught.
Yeah. So bizarre, man. And then even like when they do these Nintendo Directs, or we have like E3 coming up, like sometimes they leak 1 or 2 hours before the presentation and just watch it in an hour, you know?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
I mean, you must find it at least like it's somewhat exhausting just to fucking parse through this. And it's just, again, like at the end of the day, it'll happen when it happens. When it's in your hands, you'll get to play it, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, Grant, you're not wrong about that approach. It just, you know, there's something like, there is something exciting about it. Like, I think I've complained about this in the Discord before.
Yeah.
And I remember like, Slime said it was almost more fun. The conjecture was almost more fun than actually getting the games or the content, because of all like, I forgot how he phrased it, like some way of the sneaking around aspect of it and finding out what might be true, and then finding out that when it does become true, it's exciting. But for me personally, it's at a point now where it is completely exhausting. And especially recently, like this Switch Pro rumor stuff every day.
With the Switch Pro thing, I believe the more broad ones, like just Nintendo's going to announce it before E3. I don't believe any specific days. Just, you know, like hearing rumors about people saying, oh yeah, Nintendo will probably announce this before E3 so that they can announce some games for it at E3. Like, that's reasonable. You know, that's something that's like, okay, this might happen. But if you're like listening to exact dates and like times and everything, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
That's my thing. I don't expect anything, so I'm never disappointed.
Yeah.
People are like, hey, new Mario Golf. And I'm like, sure.
Always a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
True. That is true.
And I think it is a lot more, the whole speculation being more fun than the thing that you get. That is a lot more fun a lot of the time, especially with Smash Brothers characters. I'll read up on speculation and rumors and leaks all the time for Smash, and it's way more fun than like actually getting the character, because I'll get the character and then I'll play them for like, you know, like an hour or two, and then I won't play the game again until the next character comes out.
Yeah, pretty much same. Or like if I have friends over or something.
Yeah, see, I feel like I fell off of the Smash Bros thing because it's like I would only play Smash Bros if I go over to like your place and we have a bunch of people over.
Yeah.
Like that's been missing, and so it's just like, well, what am I going to do? Play Smash Bros by myself or play with a fucked up internet connection where the other person's just constantly dropping out? Like,
yeah.
So
but
which is
it's
unfortunate,
coming back. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
But even with the Smash stuff, it's like, they've released so many characters at this point. It's just like, whatever they want to throw out there at this point, just let it happen.
And to this point, I've gotten most of the characters I want.
Exactly.
What about Gino?
He's not coming.
What about
Sephiroth killed that.
Waluigi?
Yeah. So my punishment here is I get to, one of my siblings has a kid, and I get a job at Nintendo, and I get to leak information to one of my siblings' kids.
You can start a new Twitter account called Waluigi64.
Well, that's for like deals and stuff. Waluigi64. That's going to be for like all the down low rumors,
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
and all the secret stuff from somebody's uncle at Nintendo.
Right. That's
And
going to be you.
if you'll remember, Grant, I did when I visited Japan a couple of years ago. I stopped by Nintendo HQ in Kyoto.
Right.
And I thought it would be funny if I took a picture with my Nintendo Switch doing the soy face in front of the Nintendo logo outside of the building. So, and Grant's grabbing his Switch right now so I can display this for the folks at home. So I went to Japan. At the time, I didn't really know much Japanese at all. So I just went up to a stranger and pantomimed a camera and asking him to take a picture of me. And I pulled out my backpack and I pulled out my Switch and I stood by the big logo and I went like opened my mouth really big with this with the Switch.
The classic soy boy Wojak.
And at the same time, like 20 guys in suits walked out of the Nintendo building and stopped and stared at me, and they all just started laughing. And I like to think that I like to think that I introduced them to the soy jack, and it's perhaps taking Japan by storm right now.
Could you imagine they see you and then like later on, like a year or so later, they're like scrolling the internet and they see like the Wojak on their computer and they're like, oh,
it's that white guy with the Hawaiian shirt and the sunburn.
Oh my God, he's famous.
Truly a landmark moment in my life. But Keeby, what's bothering you, man? What's your 2 minutes of hate?
It was kind of hard for me to come up with one. There's not much that bothers me. Anything that does bother me, I usually just block it out.
And that's healthy.
Yeah,
I applaud you.
I try to keep it off my feeds. But
yes,
it happened. It came to me. The thing that's annoying me now, it came to me. And that is joke explainers.
Yeah,
people who feel the need to either explain a joke or just like on something that's funny, be like, "Don't worry, guys, it's not real." Just so you don't have to worry. And it's like, well, now I thought it was real, but now it's not real, and now the magic's gone.
Do you feel that was the case for Power Up Comics with you, where you felt the magic was gone when you found out it wasn't real?
Oh, no, definitely not. Power Up Comics, I feel like if someone had told me it was fake, I probably would have been a little bit more inclined to be like, oh, man. But since I found it out myself, it was more like a discovery than...
I agree 100%, because I was on the same path with that, where I was... I personally, one of my favorite fucking things in life is finding and obsessing over some YouTube channel or some weird account where I pour over it for weeks.
You know what I'm thinking of specifically is Tamers.
Exactly.
And like the whole concept of like, is Tamers as a person really like this, or is it a troll? And like, I feel like we talk about it a lot. We talk about it too much, probably. But the fact that we sort of still have this sort of like back and forth of like, is this real? Is this not real? Like, does make it more interesting than things that are just like obvious, just in your face. Like, here's the joke, you fucking idiot. And it's just like, why can't I just like Keeby's saying, why can't I just enjoy the fucking joke?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody just was telling me like, hey, flat Earth Homer is fake. It's all a joke. It's a troll. It would be like if somebody told me Santa Claus wasn't real. You know?
Absolutely.
It's disappointing. It was far worse.
Right.
Here, let me get the thing that someone explained that I was just like, oh, no, that's not fun anymore. It's a TikTok.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the TikTok where like the dude's crying and he says his baby brother got eaten by a lion?
Maybe.
And there's like an old man on the other side like making growling noises and laughing.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I'll put it in podcast chat.
Okay, I see that here.
Yeah, so
when I pull that up,
I had retweeted this today because I've loved this video for like ages. And then someone just responds to my retweet and didn't untag me and says, in case there's anybody who doesn't know, the video on the left is the original, so don't worry. And then it's like, well, great. Now I know that it wasn't an old man making fun of a guy getting his baby brother eaten.
It's like, what are we, babies? Like, come on. Like, don't worry, it's not scary. It's just a bad dream.
Here, I'm gonna pull this up so we can all listen together. So the thing on the right says my baby brother was eaten by a lion while on a trip to Africa this year. The guy's crying, and then what you're hearing is the guy on the left.
Oh my God. That's good.
Classic.
It's a great video.
Yeah, like who? Yeah, like the funny thing of that is the shocking aspect of it. Like,
yeah, like this old guy's making fun of this guy who went through tragedy.
Right. Nobody. I don't. It really worries me that people see things like that and like have these reactions to things that are obviously just
a joke.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
And even if it's not, this is not your life. This is not your responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
I don't
annoying.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot more fun.
It just feels like everything's being right, and it just feels like everything's being dumbed down because like somebody's gonna not understand the joke and then take it and it's just like we can't do that for everything. Like
it's gonna happen.
I do understand that there's situations.
The kid's already dead at this point. Like, what does it matter?
I do understand that there's situations like in comedy specifically that like maybe we do need to carve out certain spaces a little bit better than what we've done in the past, where people just sort of like bully pulpit certain ideas and it's like, oh, actually I wasn't being ironic and some people actually are like this, and it's like, yeah, maybe we do need to like sort of push away from that a little more, you know? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if there's certain things that just obviously are not that, and people like for the people that don't understand the joke, like I don't, yeah, why does it need to be watered down? I don't know.
I'm angry.
I'm angry.
But Keeby, I'm going to leave this in your hands. If you can punish them, these joke explainers.
I guess my punishment. This is just off the cuff. Probably just anytime they try to make a joke, the punchline is either ruined before they can say it, or it's just explained and ruined.
Like just some guy like walks out in front of me. Say, I'm going to let you finish, but let me just before you do this is just a joke.
Yeah, just to make sure everybody knows.
For everyone's trying to have a laugh here and have a good time. Anyway, go ahead and continue.
Right, like a gaggle of lawyers follow the people around. Like.
Yes.
That or just anytime they're trying to like have a sense of wonder about something, like, wow, I wonder if this is real or not. Someone just comes and like just takes their sense of discovery away. Like, no, actually, it's real, or no, it's fake.
Yeah, there's no sense of wonder anymore.
Yeah, I've been feeling that lately. I've been really feeling that with the internet, that my sense of wonder towards everything is just gone. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. Nothing's that great anymore. You see somebody who does like some fucking amazing feat that no other people can do anymore, or nobody else is capable of doing this one thing, and you watch like a video on this person and they're like, actually what he's doing is it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just say it's just magic? Can't we just think magic? Can't we just be dumb? Do we have to be dumb about things like vaccines and stuff like that? Can't I just have this one thing? Can't I just have comedy?
You can't have a magic show if you know it's not magic.
Right. We were talking about that in the Discord a couple months ago about like satire and like the role of satire and like
and on one of the episodes recently for an extended amount of time.
We talk about it a lot. Speaking of talking about things a lot, my 2 minutes of hate this week. I'm going into this blind and cold because I haven't really thought this out very well. And as we all know, it's Pride Month. This already strikes an offensive tone, but I guarantee you it's not. This concept of, you know, all these companies change their logos to like rainbow stuff and whatever, and they're like, Happy Pride Month from ExxonMobil, and you're just like, well, that's fucking Happy Pride Month from Raytheon. Did we talk about that last or 2 years ago?
I think so.
We might have, yeah. Where it's like, yeah, like a lot of that's bad, a lot of it's pandery, but also like I think that the sign that we see a lot of it is inherently good because at the very least companies are standing up for, you know, something that's like right and good sort of thing, you know, like Happy Pride Month from Robitussin Cashew says. It's one of those things where it's like a mixed bag because, yeah, I mean, you don't want people to sort of cynically abuse certain things and certain like social structures and stuff like that for corporate gain and for profit and stuff like that. And I totally understand that point of view. But at the same time, the fact that like, you know, like 10, 20 plus years ago, it's just like you can go on Twitter now and see like a bunch of people celebrating LGBT pride. And it's like, that's better than the alternative. I know that it's like you don't want to go too far down the road of pandery, but it's starting to bug me how everybody's just like, oh, it's just pandery. They're just like after profits. And it's like, they were always just after profits.
Yeah, this doesn't
every fucking corporation.
It doesn't change anything. I see like I feel like the reason people are mad is because it's like put your money where your mouth is kind of thing.
Yeah,
they're not.
absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like it's better than nothing, and it's better than like the opposite. And it's kind of the same thing last year with the like the a lot of the companies like with BLM and stuff.
Yeah.
And people were like complaining about, and it was like the same thing, like put your money where your mouth is.
It's
right,
which is a very valid concern or issue, but no, I grant. To your point though, I have seen a lot of people like screenshotting every company's like rainbow logo or rainbow Twitter header and being like, check this out.
It's just like it's the same point over and over again sort of thing. Like it's just like the same, oh, it's pandery. It's like, yeah, so is everything every company does. Like that's like the critique of a lot of like different like media companies doing like woke branding and stuff like that, is it's just like, yeah, we know that they're doing it to pander, but like at the same time, I would rather see, you know, a bunch of black characters in a TV show than the MPAA saying, actually, there's too many black characters in this movie. You should cut it down by half. Like, to me, that's way worse. And that's like what fucking reality was not that long ago. And it's like, I don't know, maybe just the wheels of progress fucking move slowly, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't to keep having the same critique of like it's pandery. It's like everything's pandering.
Yeah,
everything's pandering all the time. They just want your money. We all understand that. Fuck them. But at the same time, like it's at least the right point of view. Maybe
June Bat in the chat says, I think Pride is also very LG and not the rest of it, which is annoying and frustrating for the rest of the people as a resident T as the LGBT. So, and that's something I think I have seen more movement towards that this year. I feel like than other years.
Yeah.
And like you said, wheels of progress and everything. And again, far be it for, us to see. I feel like it's a weird conversation to have, but
well, yeah, I'm not speaking on this from point of authority.
But no,
I'm
know
speaking on this
yeah.
from like batting down the people that like are just like sticking, because I feel like the same, like the point of view also feeds into the same point of view of the people that are against LGBT. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it at a certain point becomes indecipherable when people are like, oh, it's just pandering to the woke crowd. It's like, who else says it's pandering to the woke crowd? The people that don't want to see gay people in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, my whole point is just to like fucking take a fucking bat and like push those people away, just to be like, I know that there's a critique of that and stuff like that. And yeah, as the chat's pointing out, it's not the most it's not the greatest thing for two straight white cis dudes to be talking about this type of stuff. But at the same time,
and they're also saying like, yeah, like as states are putting anti-trans youth laws in sports, where it's like,
right,
and then it's like I can see the frustration that comes with it, where it's like, we have a pink and blue flag in our logo. It's like, yeah, but like,
and we supported these representatives that voted for the bill. Like that totally, 100%, like fuck those people, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've kind of covered about all we can cover with this subject.
Hope so. Chat, is there anything we missed?
If I can get
or Keeby.
Here's a statement from the third cis white straight guy.
Please.
It definitely is like really like bad and shitty that like they are like, trying to profit off of this thing, and like this thing that shouldn't be about like making profits and like pandering. But at the same time, yeah, I do think that people are complaining just a little bit too much. It should be indicative that things at least have changed, because like you said, like 20 years ago, you never catch a company dead, talking about
not,
like,
right, exactly.
the fact that gay people exist, like nobody, like it wasn't a widely publicized fact that people, who aren't straight white cis guys. Well, I mean, I guess not the white people knew that other races existed, but
true.
People in the LGBT, like the people didn't. That wasn't a widely spread fact. Like if you knew, you knew, but like they weren't going to tell you about it on TV or radio or anything.
Right. Or there's ways to like promote it that's less sort of tokeny and a little more, like, oh, here's sort of the reality of the city.
It was more like if it was like a very
humanistic
special episode of a sitcom.
Yeah,
right. Like, yeah. Which actually, I watched a really interesting video about like the way that Frasier treated gay characters on the show versus other sitcoms, and how it was just like this normal thing, and they didn't like make it this huge thing of like, oh, Frasier like realizes that a man's hitting on him and he like becomes like offended and angry and stuff like that. He would just like treat it like it was normal, and how like back in the 90s, back in 1994, like that was sort of groundbreaking to like actually have gay characters on TV and treat them like they were normal fucking people, as opposed to like a punchline, which I think is interesting,
So what's your punishment? Careful now.
I think my whole issue with it is primarily people, Kevin, like you said,
the chat's asking you to punish them.
Junebat says, punish me, Grant. I think my main issue, Kevin, is you had said something along the lines of like, people will just like tweet out an image of like just all of the companies that are doing this and say like, come on, really? And it's like, here's the punishment. Talk about it better. I think that's the punishment, is like like we talked about some of these anti-trans bills and stuff like that. If whatever Walmart Corporation donated money to some of the representatives that voted for some of these bills, then by all means, if Walmart puts up a rainbow logo or something like that, like, and you can point out the exact hypocrisy. But I would say, like, this should have just, like, this weird blanket punish, which surprise, surprise, that's the whole segment, is the blanket punishment. For, like, just to look at everything at a whole and say, like, oh, this is bad, is, like, not the best critique of why it's bad. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else to add.
I don't know what else to say about it.
I don't know if
really.
there's anything else to say.
I think we're all kind of on the same page, and anything more could be venturing into some dangerous territory. So let's move on.
Well, before
if you haven't listened, go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to bring up one tiny thing. And this isn't like about like the hate or anything. I just want to bring up the Entertainment Weekly one that's just a rainbow flag and just says "ew" on it. Like,
is this what?
In 2017, Entertainment Weekly tried to like do the rainbow flag icon thing, but since their initials are EW, it was just a rainbow flag with a big white "ew" on it.
Oh,
and it was really awful. And it's just hilarious that they didn't realize what they were doing.
And I will admit, though, I do love big flubs like that from big companies.
Oh, yeah,
like
they're always hilarious.
Any attempt at progressiveness that just comes across, or just a complete disaster.
And to be fair, again, like, that's, I think, totally worth criticism when they do stuff like that. But just to point out, like, oh, you changed your logo to a rainbow. It's just like, I think we can do better than just to be like, well, that's bad. Like, why is it bad? You know, get to the heart of the matter. Yeah. Don't just tweet things out in 150 characters is my point. I think that's the main problem with everything we talk about on this show. Just put a little more thought and effort into what you're saying.
Now we got limits.
Yep.
Speaking of which, if you haven't listened to Thought Cops before, every week we investigate the internet's outrage-inducing news stories, and then we sentence the perpetrators to a cruel and often quite unusual punishment. So let's talk about this one really quick. This is sort of a follow-up story.
This is important. This is important news information.
This is for any film bros out there. You're going to want to listen up, because Paddington 2 has lost the top movie spot on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, no.
I know about a month or so ago, we talked about how Citizen Kane had the top spot. And they unearthed a negative review from, I don't know, whatever it was. But basically, it was like from the Chicago Tribune from like the 40s, where they said, like, yeah, it's not that great. And then it went down to 99%, putting Paddington 2 as the top-rated movie for whoever cares about this kind of crap.
Yeah, users of Rotten Tomatoes, and for literally nobody else. Who cares?
So just this headline makes me laugh, though. It says, Paddington 2 loses top movie of all time honor due to newly added bad review. You want to click on that, Grant?
Yeah, here it is.
This is upsetting.
Oh, you mean the
article?
You mean the Hollywood Reporter article?
So let's see here. Yeah, they is this what we've resorted to, like digging up negative reviews of movies just to move them up or down a list? Who gives a fuck? And it's all these reviews from only the people who are the most accredited to talk about it. You know, it's a fucking bear in a raincoat. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, it says here, the negative review for Citizen Kane was from 1941 in the Chicago Tribune. You want to go down a little bit here. So, there was a new one from, let me see, from 2017 that was critical of Paddington 2.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I guess, is Citizen Kane back up at the top spot here?
I don't know what's at the top spot.
What's number one now? Joe Dirt?
Yeah. Joe Dirte, actually, is what it's pronounced.
So, yeah, I mean, let me see here. What does this say? So, which film has clawed its way to the top and taken Paddington's honeypot title?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. What the
Do I have to go to
no, it says that would be 1999's Toy Story 2.
Really?
That's like the worst. In my opinion, that's like the worst of the trilogy.
See, I don't. This is like muckraking, but for dumb movies.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest shit. I don't care.
Yep. So if anyone at home wants to dig up a negative review of Toy Story 2 from 1999, perhaps you can
Really
waste your time that way.
Really make a wave.
Yeah, really, you're really making change in this world.
Change history.
Spending, you only got one life. Use it wisely.
Let's just race to the bottom with this. Just make every movie the worst movie. Let's just every single movie. Let's review bomb all of them.
And this is only, of course, for critic reviews, not audience scores.
No, I'm saying audience are now critics. Like what? What's so great about being a fucking critic?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And that's what my punishment for this is: merge the two, audience and critics in one. Who cares? None of this shit fucking matters.
Yeah, like what makes a critic's review of a movie better than the average person's?
I don't know. I really don't know. I studied film and broadcasting in college, and is that all you need is like a degree that says like you took a class where they made you watch a Charlie Chaplin movie or two?
Yeah.
Right.
And now you can write about movies for a living, and then your opinion is higher up than the peons below.
Like, I'm going to trust my friend who I know has similar tastes as me more than I am
that's all
some
you need.
critic.
Absolutely. Same for me. I don't I think less and less credence is taken in terms of any sort of review culture anymore, like for media. Like it used to be like all this, did you hear such and such video game about a 7.9 out of 10? And now it's like, who fucking cares, man?
It's just like if you
I like
the
it,
thing,
my friends like it, we're having fun. Who, doesn't matter. That's all,
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Sleep Science says, man, I couldn't disagree with that more. Ha ha. It's not fucking funny, Sleep Science. Shut up.
I'm going to move that one over here again. I'm
Yeah.
going to read what
I'm just trying to create space. Folks, we got a dual monitor situation going on right now. And we're learning things, we're navigating spaces we didn't exist before. Sleep Science also says I was responding to what June Bat said. But he also says critics exist so you can find the ones whose taste you align with, so you can use them as a tool for recommendations.
I guess, man. Like that could also just be like a trusted friend or coworker or whatever,
I guarantee if any of these movie critics got a YouTube channel, they'd all be just like the Nostalgia Critic.
Or they could also be like Red Letter Media, who also explicitly in a lot of their videos say like, hey, we're just two dudes talking.
Yeah.
We're just two dudes having a conversation. I don't know why people get so upset at us when we talk about these things, but you talk about things with your friends. We're talking about things with our friends.
They aren't putting
this is what we
pedestal.
think about this movie.
So he says here, Red Letter Media are absolutely movie critics. So like,
they're approaching it from a different perspective.
So if you
saying that there's like an authoritative number to be placed on a piece of art, you know what I'm saying?
And if you make a YouTube channel that puts you in a different category of human being, basically for movie reviews, that's all you need, just a YouTube account.
Right. I mean, in this case, we're also movie critics because we do Fire Bros,
and we're just a couple of schmucks.
I guess I can't trust your opinions anymore.
True on anything.
That's true. Anyone who listens to the show knows that. But let's move on here. What do you want to talk about here next, Grant?
I don't know. Let's see what's on the docket. I got one.
Oh yeah. Yes. Oh boy.
Let's talk about what was her name on the show?
Ellie KKKemper.
Kimmy Schmidt, aka Ellie KKKemper.
Oh no.
Do you all get it?
Because what was that? Remember she was in that Derek comedy video a long time ago, like Dry Blowjob?
That was College Humor.
Or College Humor, yeah.
Same difference.
So I guess she was crowned. Whatever.
So this is the way that most people saw it, and I'm gonna pull this up on the screen. A lot of people saw this tweet here that says, So was no one going to tell me Ellie KKKemper, a.k.a. Kimmy Schmidt, was crowned KKK queen in 1999? And then there's this picture that says Elizabeth Claire Kemper as the 1999 veiled prophet queen of love and beauty is attended by her pages.
What does that mean?
Is she a prophet?
Veiled prophet of love and beauty.
It's some weird fucking... I don't even know how to... It's some weird, like, group that does some sort of something. Like, I
mean,
can't,
it sounds
I can't
weird.
describe
It sounds
more.
perhaps somewhat cult-like.
Yeah.
People are saying it's the KKK. I don't know if it is or isn't.
It isn't. There's like a weird history of like whatever. So like this Rolling Stone article says that the Office star Ellie Kemper was linked to a white supremacist group after a 22-year-old photo of her surfaced on Twitter. The truth is more complicated. So they want you to read the article, which I have to log in to do. Thanks a lot, rollingstone.com. Fuck you. But it's like some sort of organization or something like that has racist roots that every organization has, that they stopped doing a certain practice in like the 70s or something like that. But people, and maybe like some of the people had something to do with the KKK at some point, or like it doesn't matter. None of the shit matters. It wasn't a KKK party.
And she was like a kid or a teenager.
Yeah,
she was like 19.
To say she hasn't stopped believing in that.
Yeah, or, that like older family members or something like that, if you're sort of like born into a certain tradition and you do like I don't know. I'm not to say that that's like dismissive of every instance of those types of things of, I'm 19, whatever, that excuses away my behavior. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
So yeah, I guess people are, I don't know. This is again, whatever, ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know enough about this. I don't know. As a matter of fact, I don't know a single thing about it. Like aside from what we talked about here. I guess I won't watch The Office anymore. I don't have a Peacock account, so
I had a conversation with a relative about this. Technically that's false. The group has no known affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan, but the group's history is still deeply problematic, as you can imagine that it would be. And they do this like ball or something like that, and then she was crowned the queen of the fucking ball, and that's basically it.
So she got prom queen.
Yeah, she was the racist prom queen.
Okay.
That's it. That's why people are upset.
all right.
Well,
So I'm having a conversation with a relative about this, and my relative goes, did you see they're trying to cancel the girl from The Office? Like, this is how people talk nowadays. I talked about cancel culture. One of my relatives was like, did you see they're trying to cancel the woman from The Office? And I was like, cancel her from what? And she was like, well, cancel her. Like, because she was in some KKK thing or something like that. They're trying to cancel her. And I'm like, well, cancel her from what? Like what's she in right now? And she's like, oh, she's not like currently acting in anything right now. And I'm like, so cancel her for fucking what? She's like, they're trying to whatever. I'm like, that's just criticism. They're just criticizing the thing. Like, and there's better and worse criticism, but who cares,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's something to talk about at the water cooler,
Yeah.
Hey, you hear that chick from The Office is a fucking Nazi? Yeah, I heard about that.
I did
Wow.
not see that coming.
And this is culture now, this is kind of what we have to bond over things with each other.
Yeah.
How lovely.
Why don't we get to one more news story?
Yeah, well, we got
here?
to punish her though.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think. Maybe she could. Hold on, I got it here.
We also have the
She
wheel.
she should join not the Black Panthers, but the Mac Panthers.
Good, great callback.
Great callback.
Yeah. Something different.
Right.
Yeah, but let's do one more.
I feel like we could get to this one because this is sort of an interesting topic for conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Let's.
That is a good
So people be talking about things, right? You know how people talk?
Mhm.
Well, lately what people are talking about, we've had this whole pandemic, and those of us that survived our way through it were lucky enough to survive, and those who weren't lucky enough to survive through it are dead. But the ones of us that are remaining, the world has changed
A little bit.
there was a pre-pandemic world and a post-pandemic world. And the world that we find ourselves in now is one where a lot of people saw the coding behind the Matrix, you know. They saw how people reacted to things. They saw how a lot of institutions that were put there to protect us in these times didn't protect us and just said, you're fucking on your own. And, you know, the reaction to that has been pretty sort of astoundingly strong. And there is now backlash to that reaction. So this article that I have pulled up from the New York Post is, these workers were asked to return to the office and they quit their job instead.
Yeah, because I heard there was a KKK queen there.
Yeah.
Not to mention that Jim. Woof.
So a lot of people are working from home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Understood.
People
Yep.
are working from home. There's like a job crisis happening where people are like, hey, we can't hire anybody to work our shitty McDonald's job. Why not? And people go, because fuck McDonald's. Because fuck you people. Like, you're refusing to raise the minimum wage. You're refusing to, like, pay people fucking enough money to live. Like, why would I work at McDonald's when I can just fucking collect unemployment and make more money off of that, so long as it's, like, you know, available for me to do that? Why would I go fucking work back at McDonald's? And same thing with a lot of people who, you know, before the pandemic, they were working a normal job. They'd go to an office. During the pandemic, they got to work from home. People's lives changed as a result. They got to spend more time with their family. They got more time to do things that they wanted to do. They weren't, like, scrutinized for 8 hours a day where, like, their fucking job overseer would just fucking stare at them for 8 hours and be like, you're not on Facebook, are you? Are you working? Are you doing your job?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, a lot of people as a result are just like, you're going to require me to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm just not going to go back in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to work from home during the pandemic, and even now, as it stands, indefinitely so.
Right.
Because it's a fucking waste of time. The commute.
Right. And a lot of people have been moving.
The
a lot
culture.
of people.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't need. I mean, like, and the thing too is a lot of these companies are also realizing they don't have to waste the rent money to buy out these office spaces if the same shit's getting done at home. And hell, if they're feeling charitable enough, they can pass along the savings to their employees, pay them more, they're happier. I'm not saying that's happening very often, but it could be, and it's a possibility. But
actually,
really,
I've heard that people have been doing the opposite, that they're like, oh, well, since you don't have to pay money to commute anymore, we're going to pay you, like, less.
And that's stupid. That's very stupid.
They have the power to do it. They're your fucking employer.
I know. It's stupid.
Fucking, yeah.
It's dumb. Okay?
It's really
true.
So yeah, these people here are saying, I don't want to go back to the office. I don't like water cooler talk. I don't like people breathing down my fucking neck.
Right.
I like being in my home. Maybe they have kids or pets. I get to spend time with them. Like, I know people who had to, you know, drive an hour and a half to work, hour and a half back.
Dude, that's fucking killer.
That's
man.
3 hours of their day that they now have to spend with their kids or just fucking relax after a long day of work, and they get the same amount of shit done, you know? And I'm thankful too, because it's like, you know, I have a day job, but I can also use that extra time to funnel it into doing more stuff for Thought Cops, for example. Like, you know, I'm not as worn out by having to do this extra bullshit every day, and I can like use that energy and transfer it to whatever else we got to do. So I don't blame these people for not wanting to go back, is what I'm saying.
Right. And the backlash is towards these people that are like, it's another, the millennials are killing the mayonnaise industry. The millennials are killing the job industry. The millennials are killing every industry. And there was another article that was written that was like, oh, millennials are running out of time to accumulate wealth before they have no money for retirement. And it's like, we have an entire generation of people. Now it's going to be 2 generations of people that just have no fucking money. And you're complaining that people don't want to go back to work because you're not paying anybody enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Agreed.
Especially like, you know, places like McDonald's, like we said, they didn't raise their pay during the pandemic or anything to help people during that time. So like, why would people want to go there again if, you know, what if the pandemic outbreaks again? We all have to go back down into like lockdown and have to have more money again. They're not going to raise, if they already showed they're not going to raise the pay, why do I want to work there?
Right.
And Cashew's in the chat here says, despite these stories and studies being true, I'm tired of being reminded of it constantly on social media. Please stop telling me I'm going to be poor forever.
Hey, you and me both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and there's also like...
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Woo!
Just trying to get the energy up, you know?
There's also an aspect to it, too, where it's like... I feel like you see this a lot in like some of these public freakout videos especially, but I feel like this is indicative of like more and more people's just sort of take on things, is where people see like service industry workers and they're like, you're my servant. Like people literally think these, like they're like...
Less and less, I hope that's happening.
I feel like there's a lot more than you think that there is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like... I know that like having a freak out video go viral on the internet of some woman screaming at a McDonald's employee, but like I feel like there's a prevalent ideology towards people that work these types of jobs where it's like the customer's always right, the customer's always like throughout the whole pandemic. You want to talk about pandering? It's like, oh, our frontline workers,
and
it's
I
like,
was just
and
thinking
we're
how to
not,
connect
we're not
that.
doing anything to raise their money. They're our essential workers. We salute you. How about instead of saluting people, you give them more fucking money, because that's all anybody fucking needs or wants in this world is enough money to be able to fucking survive. You know,
heroes work here.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Oh man. I mean, this shit. Yeah, this makes me angry. I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
God.
What do you think, Oprah?
Let's see what she has to say.
Completely silent on the issue.
Ugh.
Unbelievable.
Distribute some of that wealth.
Evil.
Truly.
So what's the punishment?
Everybody gets to stay home and be a NEET.
Fuck it.
No education, employment, or training.
Yeah.
NEET.
Well,
And that's the Thought Cops word of the week, by the way. NEET.
I don't think that's come up yet.
I don't think so either.
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I feel like it should have by now.
Maybe it did.
Whatever. It is today. Deal with it.
It's not like my memory towards the word of the week is like ironclad. I don't remember last week's word of the week.
It was roasty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that now.
Now I don't want to remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess let's see. What move on a little bit here.
It's like Grimes made that TikTok that everybody's complaining about, where she's like, the quickest way to communism is through AI. And it's like, yeah, so we just get robots to do all the fucking work. How about that? How about we do what robots were invented to do in the first place? All the robots do all the work. and you just get to hang out and enjoy your fucking life.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think a
Why
robot.
the fuck do we have jobs?
Yeah,
man?
let's give people a universal basic income, and a robot can mix my M&M McFlurry.
Yeah.
But let's move along, though. We already did the word of the week, so let's do key to the city, something nice, something swell, something great we saw, perhaps. My key to the city goes to this. I saw this like little mini documentary about the animation evolution of The Simpsons over the last years. It was on on Insider or whatever. I thought it was kind of interesting. I obviously I'm a big Simpsons fan, and the animation, I mean, the show's still going on for some reason, unfortunately. But it talks about how the different techniques changed, even in the early seasons, and just a lot of cool stuff like that. And even like I looking at some of how they animated certain scenes in the prime era of the show, just a hand-drawn animation with the big bulgy eyes, and like they gave him like big pupils too. It felt very much in line with the tone and the humor and stuff. And like that, for
definitely.
it being an animated show, that's a big part of it, where it's sometimes the HD animation, maybe doesn't quite lend itself as well in the same for what they're going for specifically. So I thought that was pretty cool. Cooler than I thought it was going to be. So if you're a Simpsons head like me, check it out.
If you have a Simpsons tattoo on your right upper arm, like Kevin, check it out.
Maybe you want to check it out. Yeah. Keeby, what's your key to the city? Something cool or good that you saw?
Staying on the tone of animation, my key to the city is going newgrounds.com.
Hell yeah. We've been talking about Newgrounds actually quite a bit on this show recently, how they have sort of like stood their ground. Their new ground.
Yeah. At this point, it's old ground.
Oh, they should. Hey, can they change the URL, please? But no, we were saying here before you get to your statement, just about how it's still very much an independent.
Oh yeah, it's
as far as I know, independently run. Without the bullshit that YouTube is going through, for example, where it's all
It definitely was fading into obscurity, but then Friday Night Funkin' brought it back.
Mm-hmm. That's not like that big rhythm flash.
Yeah, it's a
crossover.
It's a rhythm game like Parappa, but like it has a bunch of original characters and a bunch of characters from Newgrounds showing up in it.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's a very very smart idea to keep that legacy going, because I mentioned the early 2000s internet culture before. Newgrounds was a huge part of that in that era, especially. And I'm cool. I'm cool to see. I'm happy to see that Newgrounds is still maintaining some kind of relevancy in the same degree. I mean, there's a lot of other animators and illustrators I follow on Twitter as well who are still somewhat prominent on Newgrounds, and they're still putting out a lot of like collaboration projects and stuff.
It definitely became
a lot of
like an underground area, but Friday Night Funkin' really just propelled it back into the spotlight. Early 2020, you ask someone who Pico was, no one would know. Now everybody knows who Pico is and Tankman and all of them.
Is Tom Fulp still running Newgrounds?
Yes, and he's still in charge of it.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Didn't he just recently follow you on Twitter?
He followed me on Newgrounds.
Did I see you? Oh, on Newgrounds.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
That's cool. Congrats.
Thank you.
Nice.
It's like I think it was one of the developers of Friday Night Funkin'. They said it's kind of like a rite of passage on Newgrounds for Tom Fulp to follow you, because that means that you're putting good stuff out on the platform.
Yeah, totally, absolutely,
and being recognized for it.
And you're a bit you're how old are you, Keeby?
I'm I almost said 20. I just turned 21 on the 24th.
I was going to say, yeah, I knew you were a bit younger. That's crazy, because you got to be like just about as old as Newgrounds.com, if not maybe even younger.
Oh, shit.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Even though I am this young, it still was a major part of my childhood. I still played like the Flash games, albeit, ripped from Newgrounds and uploaded onto other websites. And I still like followed a lot of the creators and like watched a lot of the animations that originated on Newgrounds. It's all culminating and up to this. And I actually became active earlier this year on Newgrounds, and it's just been a really great time. And this is why I'm giving it my key of the city. It's just such a great platform for creators in general. Like, if it wasn't for Newgrounds, I wouldn't have even started touching animation.
I know Zwick in the chat here mentioned Smiling Friends. I think, what was it, Zach?
Psychic Pebbles.
I forget his
Zach
last
Hayden.
name. Yeah, Psychic Pebbles.
Yeah.
I believe he also started at Newgrounds, and it's cool to see, somebody who, these people who do get their start in that arena, entering this sort of mainstream atmosphere and getting their work out there, and it's not just from this bubble that everything else sort of exists in. They're reaching into this
definitely
inner culture. Yeah,
and
it's cool. I like it.
It's a great place. It's so positive. You'll get way more feedback there than you would on any other platform. Like, my animations, except for the Friday Night Funkin' one, that one blew up on YouTube because it's a bunch of 12-year-olds watching it. But my animations, just when I upload them to YouTube, they typically get a couple hundred views and that's it. Newgrounds, I get so much feedback, actual feedback. People saying what they liked about it or what they thought needs to be changed. On YouTube, I'll upload and they'll be like, "Haha, Evangelion,"
yeah,
get nothing.
And then again goes to something we talk about on the show a lot is just the algorithm and everything else that's practically ruined these.
That's the great thing about Newgrounds. Doesn't have an algorithm, and they don't collect any of your data either. The website is they don't sell data, they don't collect data. The website's run entirely on Tom Fulp's money and money from supporters.
And that's super rare. I know Cashew in the chat says, remember when Ego Raptor had disclaimers on his videos saying he would never re-upload them to YouTube? Lol. Grant, what's your key to the city?
My key to the city this week goes to a video I saw on YouTube by the man known as H Bomber Guy.
Well, we're just talking shit on YouTube, though. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
well, this is a guy that makes content that happens to upload it to YouTube.
Love that guy.
No, I've seen a few of his videos.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good ones. They are long, but he also covers a lot of different topics in his videos. I think in a certain way he can be considered BreadTube because a lot of it reverts back to politics.
I mean, he's kind of who I think of when I think of BreadTube,
right?
Personally,
but also he does a lot of movie criticism or video game criticism, and it's all really interesting. He did one of those videos on why the BBC Sherlock Holmes show sucks, and
I watched that one just the other
day. I
had
fallen off of it. Yeah. I had fallen off of that show for a while because I really started feeling like it sucked. And then to have him make a 3-hour-long video on precisely why it sucks was mind-blowing.
It's like a whole episode of Sherlock.
Yeah. So why watch multiple seasons of that show when you can just watch the one video explaining why it's bad?
Your time is valuable.
Exactly. But he made a video called Vaccines, A Measured Response. And of course, it's an hour and 44 minutes long. But it goes into the whole modern anti-vax movement and where the origin sort of came from and dispelling exactly where and who and what started all of it and how that's informing the current anti-vax situation we're seeing now. And it's of course it's one of those things where it's you sort of remember hearing some of these things in the news and stuff like that, but the detail to which I was unaware of some of the stuff was mind-blowing. That this one scientist / doctor that had sort of said all these things about vaccines cause autism, to the extent to which he was committing unethical child abuse in some of these tests, and the precisely how he went about doing these tests to prove it, and the whole situation of him pushing back against certain vaccines so that he could sell his own vaccine that he had patented days before, putting out like, you know, this study that proved that there's a link between vaccines and autism. Like, just the amount of detail in watching this video was like just disgustingly astounding. And the fact that, like, because of this, we're seeing like half of the fucking population doesn't want to get fucking vaccinated for COVID, despite the fact that vaccines are like maybe one of the safest medical treatments we've ever devised. Is I think it's like required viewing for people. Like,
even though I already got my vaccine, should I still watch it? You should
still watch it.
Okay.
Like, it's like now more than ever do people need to like be aware of this type of shit, because it's just I don't know.
What a world we live in, huh?
What a world, Mark.
I watched it just the other day, and it's incredible that, like, wasn't this like, didn't it all go down in the 90s?
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, so this is like before like the internet was huge, right? Before like we had mass, you know, social media and communication. So like it's incredible how he got away with such a misinformation campaign during that time.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and just news outlets just like ran with it. And like one of the most harrowing aspects is when one of the scientists that helped him like put together his vaccine said that he had the cure to autism.
Yes.
And it was in his own bone marrow. And it's just this lunatic fucking old man who's like, my bone marrow cures autism.
Who isn't even a doctor.
That sounds like something from like a Naruto villain or something.
Yeah. I mean, just like, and to think that this man is responsible for like the fact that half of the country still doesn't want to get fucking vaccinated because people don't know what's in the vaccination. It's like like I can't fucking wrap my head around
the fact that it wasn't even in America.
Watch the fucking video. Right.
And yet it spread to our country so easily.
Yeah, it's like a worldwide fucking thing.
That being said, though, speaking of content, Keeby, where can we find your social media and all your great animations, everything else you want to plug?
Oh, right. I guess I'll start with Twitter. I'm on Twitter at KeebyAstroCat. That's usually where you'll find my comics, art, and stuff. I haven't been too on it making it lately because I've been too busy animating to actually like, draw actual, you know, full art pieces.
Sure. Yeah.
Turns out that takes out a lot of time. Takes up a lot of time. But you can find me there at KeebyAstroCat. That's Keeby, and then Astro, and then KAT. At KeebyAstroCat. The home of my animations and art forever probably will be Newgrounds, and you can find me there at keeby10.newgrounds.com. And
it's a good excuse to get back to Newgrounds.
Yeah.
Really.
While you're there, check it out. They have all sorts of great animations, like I said, great art there, a ton of great games, ton of great music even. The audio community is incredible. There's even podcasts on there.
There's podcasts?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an official Newgrounds podcast even.
We got to get on there, Grant.
We do.
I'd love to hear that. And then I guess the last one I'll plug is my YouTube. It's probably the one of these three that, you know, in my brain is the least important. And that's just, you just look me up, Keeby10, that's the channel. You'll know it if you see it, stuff like Friday Afternoon or Easy Evangelion or Evangelion Mohammed's Wrath. Just stupid stuff.
We'll go ahead and link to that in the description for anybody who wants to check that out, which you should. Before we get to our final segment of the show here, which is our listener voicemails, I just want to say again, if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/thoughtcops. We got a bonus show on there for just $2 a month. Fire Bros, where of course Grant and I play the important role of movie critics or any media critics in general, and which of course makes our opinion better than others. And for $5 a month, you get to hang in the live chat, see the live video. Yeah, the videos go up on YouTube, but you can see all the flubs and all the good stuff here.
Watch us set up for 15 minutes.
Oh, you're
going
gonna
to
love it.
Recording.
No, I mean that's what I like to call growing pains.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
and I want to give a shout out. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go
I don't mean to interrupt. I thought you were done. I'm
No,
sorry. Just one last plug. Keep an eye on the accounts on Twitter at GiggleCorp and on Newgrounds, gigglecorp.newgrounds.com. I'm working on
GiggleCorp.
I'm working on an animation with my friend for that, and it's going to be big.
Awesome.
So far, that's the audio. We have a full storyboard for it. The audio's up to like 10 minutes long. It's going to be a big thing.
Go. Yeah, keep us in the loop.
I will.
Just follow Keeby for all the great latest and greatest, basically. And I do want to say, in regards to the Patreon, I'm going to give a thank you, not a new patron, but an updated patron, Logan Watson. Thank you, Logan. If you want to,
he dropped his amount down.
we don't have to fucking say that part. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to fucking. God damn it. Trying to show some. Honest to a fault. They don't have to know that part.
Whatever.
Thank you, Logan, for giving us anything. All right, man. We appreciate it.
Thank everybody for giving us anything. Thank you if you're not giving us anything and you're just listening. But hey, if you want to, you get all these extra bonuses.
Now the chat's saying, can I get a shout out for giving you less money? God damn it.
You see,
that was the one time.
Yeah.
That was the one time.
Nobody else.
If you up your pledge, I'll kiss your ass next week.
Yeah.
And again, that address is patreon.com/thoughtcops. Before we get to those voicemails, though, you can give us a call. That's free, 312-788-7361. Or you can send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. Hit it.
This is the Discord news for this week.
Oh, wow.
Bringing you all the news worth reporting from the virtual streets of Neo-Chicago. This week saw the release of Knockout City, an amazing dodgeball game that the boys have been playing and therefore too busy to do the news. This week's Discord news has been presented to you by me, Leo the Incredible.
In hashtag lifts, 688 Attaxa posted how he strapped his legs to his workout bench to do hamstring curls, which led to them cramping up painfully and leaving him lying on his bench helplessly, trying to wiggle out of the straps.
This past Monday, Fendi Belts and Realtree committed an act so heinous, we don't know if it can ever be forgiven. He neglected to post Gayfield.
In hashtag general, members of the server had an argument about the merits of getting vaccinated. This led to an old conversation being brought back up where the server debated which vaccine jokerfies, bimbofies, and monkeyfies. Send in your picks and a voicemail for next week.
After Slime posted a long rant about his roommate burning a pizza in a cardboard pizza box, right after 688 Attack Sub posted a copy pasta, many users mistook Slime's near-death experience as a copy pasta as well.
Oh my
Hashtag
God.
Near Chicago, a few members argued about the price and the HOA fees for a house they couldn't afford if they worked for 3 lifetimes. By the way, the HOA is a perfect representation of libertarian government.
In hashtag Normie Safe Space, racism won in a poll pitting non-racist dogs against racist ones.
Oh my God.
This week's Discord news has been presented to you by Dodgeball Joseph and IO Ball Dodger.
All right.
Thank you, guys. I guess.
I was anticipating a sports
good work
segment
again.
because I looked up.
Well,
Yeah, where the hell?
I looked up sports before the show because I keep on hearing about it in this Discord news bit.
Yeah.
I don't.
And we don't know what it is either. We do the show. We still have no
I
fucking
read a whole
idea.
article about it. Who knows?
You still don't get it after
I read
that?
a whole article. It gave me a headache.
Sounds about right.
yeah. That's how I feel too.
Hey, it's your boy, Brandon Kirkman. It's been a little bit. I haven't been checking my Discord. I turned off the whole notifications, and I've been a free man since, but that means I haven't been really responding to when I should recall. Anyways, heard you guys are having on Keeby. I don't really know him that well, but I saw that Newsground stuff. And I started thinking about that Newsground animation from like 2002 with like a stick figure and they play Dragula by Rob Zombie and he goes around and murders people. Pretty
that's
cool.
perfect.
I don't remember what it's called, so can you guys remember that one? Anyways.
I can't.
There we go.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And also Free Palestine. I'm getting political now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
From the bathroom. So a stick figure animation where a guy runs around killing people to Rob Zombie's Dragula. That does sound like 2002.
It also sounds like it could be a lot of animations.
Yes, but like especially from that time period.
Yeah.
I hate that like, I don't hate it, but like that immediately when he said that, I had this like warm feeling of nostalgia in me. I'm like, that reminds me of my formative years, you know?
Right. I always think of like the Group X ones. You know, you remember Group X?
Who's that?
I don't know.
I think I remember
They did
that.
55.
I saw somebody mention in the chat earlier Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
Yeah.
That was a fucking banger.
That guy's still around making music.
Neil Cicerega.
Yeah, Lemon Demon. Yeah.
Oh wait, he's wait, that's Neil Cicerega?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
You couldn't tell by the voice?
I guess
Lemon
not.
Demon, Potter Puppet Pals, all that stuff.
I'm calling in, bitches, for a rare key to the city.
Oh, wow.
Discovered this YouTube channel called Prim's Hood Cinema. That is Prim, Primm, Prim's Hood Cinema. He is the dude who reviews hood/black people movies, specifically like gangster movies from like the 90s and 2000s. He's super funny. Some of the movies he recommends are quite good, and then some of them he just roasts, like that really shitty Tupac biopic, and he's currently doing R. Kelly's Trap in the Closet. It's so fucking funny. So if you want to like watch like some funny reviews, definitely recommend this dude.
Check him out.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Sounds great.
Remember when we would do that in the show, Grant? We always go, check it out.
You still do that.
I
did.
do, but I feel like that was a bigger part of the show at one point. That was like a punchline to so many things where somebody would mention something and one of us would go, check it out. And it's so stupid, but I remember we did it like almost every episode.
Right.
And good evening to you Thought Cops, my friends. Once again, it is Leo the Incredible gracing your voicemail on this absolutely excellent Thursday evening.
Once more.
The sun is shining, gentlemen. Everything is great. Everything's opened up again. It feels like freedom. And that's such a great thing. Now, Grant, normally I might go on about Paper Mario here, but let's set that aside. That's a conversation for another day, my friend, and I know you'll get to it. And Kevin,
that's right.
On that day he does do it, you will give him that affirmative man nod once he's beaten the game.
I owe you that six-pack,
that's next
too.
week's voicemail, hopefully. Nonetheless, let's move on to the meat and potatoes.
Why is everybody doing their own show in the middle of our show all of a sudden? All these people that leave their voicemails, they have segments to their voicemails. They have splorts ball segments. He's moving on to his own meat and potatoes.
I like to think we've inspired a new generation of content creators. You know, they're all, you know, they've taken up what we've put down.
I suppose so.
Voicemail
Yeah.
And I want to say too, I'm like also somewhat thrown off because you know, he's calling in, I'm presuming from his phone on these other normal voicemails, but then hearing him on Discord News, he sounds so clear. He must have used different gear, which I'm not sure why he chose to go back to the phone. I mean, whatever works for you, man. Let's hear the rest of this.
He's been streaming too, which
That's
has been
true.
interesting. Actually, his voice here sounds like Calculon, but when he streams, he sounds like Brain from Pinky and the Brain. So
kind of the same again, like the transatlantic.
Yeah, but it goes back and forth. Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting.
Anyway.
Of this voicemail. It's a question, gentlemen, and a question I also pose to your guest, Keeby.
Oh.
My question is this. Imagine a world where every video game you know of, every video game that's ever been made, is now gone. Which one, gentlemen, which one are you the most sad over? That it is no longer here, that it has been wiped from this plane? Which one can you just refuse to live with? And share your answers with your viewers. Let me know. I'm genuinely curious. But other than that amazing question, that's all I have this evening. I hope you guys have a great week. The viewers have a great week. And everybody is just
Love
great.
the positivity.
All right. Leo out.
Oh, thanks, Leo.
So basically, like, what is your favorite video game?
I was going to say.
What would you be most sad to see?
Your desert island video
Roundabout way.
I mean, I guess I would say, like, probably the Nintendo 64 Zeldas. I feel like those are like,
yeah.
I mean, they hit me at the right time. I feel like, I mean, they're just, to me, perfect games. And you know, it would suck not to have.
He says no, you have to pick one.
Probably Ocarina of Time then.
Fuck.
But I mean, yeah, it would be a bummer if we just didn't have video games at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, and we've had this discussion too many times. I like Majora's Mask better than Ocarina of Time, but man, if I had to pick one between the two, I think I would have to pick Ocarina of Time. I think I would because Majora's Mask almost sort of doesn't make sense as its own like standalone game, whereas Ocarina of Time does. And same thing. I mean, I like hear the music from the game, and it's like I got fucking goosebumps right now, fucking thinking of the music from fucking Ocarina of Time. It's like the
title
music,
sequence,
the title sequence,
amazing.
like every aspect. I have to agree with you actually that it'd probably be Ocarina of Time. Now again, I like Majora's Mask better, but you couldn't do Majora's Mask without Ocarina of Time first, you know?
Exactly. Keeby, what's your choice? Stick figure murder simulator?
Yeah, that's definitely got to be it. No, my gut instinct is Undertale, since that is my favorite game. But
okay,
I've never played it.
But
still.
I feel like the one I would be most sad about is actually Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean, I never got into the whole Minecraft thing, but it's a monumental game on so many levels.
It's
and like, I mean, they both the ones you mentioned
I've just spent so much time in Minecraft. I've had so much fun with friends in Minecraft. It'd be hard to imagine that just all never existing.
And that's actually a very good point I didn't consider with my answer, because something to be said about the memories you have from a lot of these multiplayer games,
right,
and stuff like that, where like Minecraft is a great example where that, you know, it's not just tied to like, oh, I had this great experience playing through this game. This was a social thing for me, and this is how I'm presuming you probably met people through Minecraft and bonded with people you already knew in Minecraft. I'm not trying to say like in Minecraft. But
it's definitely been a bonding experience for pretty much every friend I've ever had.
Right. And yeah, like somebody in the chat here said like GoldenEye on 64 was another kind of example of that.
See, and I sort of get that aspect to a certain point, but I also feel like the experience of like playing like GoldenEye with a group of people or playing Mario Kart was always like a fun one, but like the whole experience of like being a child and like being Link and like like having this like sort of personal moment with some of these games is, I think, like what makes them, you know, sort of like stand out in my head, where it's like, yeah, like you have great experiences playing all these like different multiplayer games and stuff like that, but I always felt like for me, you know, being a depressed 8-year-old as you can imagine me being, was like, yeah, you cling to stuff like that, and it does have like a lot of meaning, you know?
For me, Minecraft is kind of that. You know, I first started playing it when I was 11, so it's been like a thing that I played in as a kid and like saw myself as the character, and like I made my own worlds to be in. but it's also been that social.
And that, I mean, I can't even imagine like what that would have been like to grow up with Minecraft in that same way, building your own world and just that incredible social aspect. So like that's a good answer, which Leo says these are all good answers in the chat.
Thanks, Leo.
He says for him, his answer is Final Fantasy III is the game he would miss the most, which I'm assuming he probably means 6. Maybe he can correct me there because I think if he's talking about Final Fantasy III in America, it's Final Fantasy VI in Japan.
Final Fantasy 3 was on SNES, he says.
Yeah.
So is 6.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, exactly. So whatever, he said the game set a gold standard for my gameplay experience and very few games could get close to achieving. Okay, yeah, he says it's 6. Yeah, which, I mean, that's another very common answer. It's a beloved game by many.
Yeah.
Especially from that era. All right, well, that just about wraps up the voicemails. Again, if you want to give us a call, it's 312-788-7361. Or you can send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. Again, if you want to donate to the Patreon, it's patreon.com/thoughtcops. This just in, we got an update. John Elizabeth has updated their pledge by 50 cents. So, hey, shout out. You heard what I said, and I'm not going to kiss your ass next week. I'm kissing your ass this week. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Show wouldn't be here without you guys.
Truly.
Greatly appreciate it. Keeby, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on.
Been listening for a while. It's great to come on.
I'm glad to hear
for listening, too.
And everybody else, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
See you, Space Cop.